I now have the honor of presenting the 2025 Pyne Honor Prize, this university's highest undergraduate distinction. This award was established in 1921 as a memorial to Moses Taylor Pyne of the class of 1877. It is presented annually to the member or members of the senior class who most clearly manifested excellent scholarship, strength of character, and effective leadership in support of the best interests of Princeton University. This year's prize will be jointly conferred on Avi Atar and Jennifer Nwokeji. I will begin by introducing Avi. Last fall, I heard Avi Atar speak as part of a student panel on constructive dialogue. In his remarks, Avi described what he had learned at Princeton, namely, the importance of listening to others, being receptive to diverse perspectives, asserting one's own views firmly but gently, and finding common ground. Throughout his 4 years here, whether in the classroom, in student government, or in community service, Avi has modeled beautifully the constructive dialogue to which our community aspires. Majoring in the School of Public and International Affairs, with minors in computer science and values in public life, Avi has excelled academically across multiple disciplines. His professors consistently praise his intellectual rigor, depth of insight, and ability to connect academic ideas to the real world. Avi recognizes that the deepest learning emerges through conversation. As one instructor observed, in a time when debates can often feel polarized, Avi exemplified a rare intellectual humility. He was willing to reconsider his views, and when persuaded by reasoned arguments, change his mind. Avi's academic interests center on designing policies that address the social and economic implications of new technologies like generative artificial intelligence. His technology policy work has already had an impact beyond Princeton, including contributions to the AI task force in the Federal Trade Commission's Division of Financial Practices during a summer fellowship in 2023, and a presentation to members of Congress on tech policy last spring. Avi's intellectual gifts are matched by a remarkable capacity for leadership. As USG president last year, Avi faced the challenge of leading a student body that was deeply divided over the Israel-Hamas war. With grace, compassion, and humility, he worked to ensure that the undergraduate student government's response would be inclusive and transparent. Ian Dees, Associate Dean of Undergraduate Students, who worked with Avi in this USG role, describes him as a, quote, once-in-a-generation talent, possessing unimpeachable integrity and venerable commitments to the interests of his fellow students and the facilitation of dialogue across difference. The arenas of Avi's leadership and service at Princeton extend widely, from peer academic advising at Rockefeller College to Community House, to outdoor action, to the sailing team. And I might add, Avi is a certified whitewater rafting guide who also enjoys chess and playing the ukulele. Avi, through your intellect, leadership, and personal example, you have helped to advance Princeton's highest ideals. We are confident that you will go on to change the world. Congratulations. Please join me in welcoming Avi to the stage.
Thank you, everyone. President Eisgruber, thank you for the generous introduction. Thank you to Dean Crotty and Dean Gordon for this honor. I'm humbled to be receiving this award, especially when I consider my incredible classmates, Jennifer most of all. The summer before my first year here, I found myself in an environment quite different from Princeton. I was the newest and youngest raft guide at Echo Canyon River Expeditions, a whitewater rafting outfitter in rural Colorado. It was at Echo Canyon that I experienced my first Princeton-related tradition. At the beginning of most trips, just after I launched my boat into the water, another guide on the river would raft up next to me and announce to my guests, "Did you know you have the smartest guide on the river? He's going to Princeton University." This comment always embarrassed me. As a river guide, I was anything but smart. Over the course of the summer, I knocked many guests out of my boat. I lost company gear, including a 7-foot oar and a top-of-the-line GoPro. And in the most embarrassing moment of all, I fell out of the boat, had to get pulled back in by my own guests, and was so eager to return to the guiding position that I accidentally hurled myself overboard again. These moments on the river reminded me how much I had to learn. Presence of mind, judgment, and conviction make raft guides good, and I was lacking in these areas. As I recognized this, I began to feel uneasy about going to Princeton. As excited as I was to return to the classroom, I began to worry that 4 years in suburban New Jersey might not offer the personal growth I was seeking. Now, as I reflect on my 4 years here at Princeton, I am most grateful for the countless opportunities for growth. I've had illuminating academic experiences. My professors have been incredible teachers and researchers, among them a sitting member of Congress, a former acting Secretary of State, and several computer scientists leading the way on AI. Their passions have rubbed off on me through engaging lectures and challenging assignments, and they have also encouraged me to explore my own interests at the intersection of policy and technology. I'm particularly grateful to my junior paper advisors, John Londrigan and Derek Kilmer, and my senior thesis advisor, Ethan Kapstein, among many others. Much learning and growth have taken place outside of the classroom. My time in student government taught me how to navigate conflict and advance compromise without losing sight of my own beliefs. Serving as a peer representative showed me how to channel empathy in support of classmates in need. Through co-curricular travel, I've discussed academic work with leaders ranging from members of Congress to the president of Uruguay, which taught me about presentation and composure. Leading outdoor action trips taught me how to work in teams and earn trust. And through summer internships generously supported by Princeton, I gained my first taste of government and professional work, which allowed me to explore and clarify my interests. Together, these experiences have sharpened my sense of judgment and conviction. And along the way, I also met dedicated members of the Princeton community, like Deanie and Dees, my mentor in USG, who working hard to make these experiences possible. I'm deeply grateful. Most of all, my peers have defined my Princeton experience. I moved into Princeton one day early, when mostly athletes were on campus. So my first impression was that my classmates were exceptionally tall. Since then, I've learned that they are unbelievably bright, passionate, and talented people. They're artists, athletes, and veterans. They've come to Princeton from all over the country and the world, and they've brought myriad perspectives and life experiences with them. I still meet new Princetonians almost every day, and my worldview broadens a little more each time. To my friends, classmates, and the many other students I've crossed paths with, Thank you for every fun moment and lesson learned. As I look ahead, I think back to rafting, how it revealed the many ways I needed to grow. Over the past 4 years, Princeton has jump-started that growth, not only through academics, but also through the challenges, experiences, and people I've encountered. I know the future will bring its own set of obstacles, but thanks to Princeton, I feel better prepared to face what lies ahead. Thank you.
In an essay earlier this year, Jennifer Nwokeji described the values and interests that have guided her during her time at Princeton. She wrote, "At my core, I have always wanted to dig deeper, whether it be working in lab and health-related fields or researching and celebrating my Nigerian culture. Seeing matters and people beyond the surface level promotes genuine understanding." Jenny's abiding sense of curiosity and her desire to use knowledge and talents in the service of others have propelled her to impressive achievements inside the classroom and beyond it. Majoring in molecular biology and pursuing minors in bioengineering and African studies, Jenny has achieved an outstanding academic record. Her professors consistently remark on her sheer brilliance, her passion for going above and beyond in her learning, no matter the topic or discipline, and her capacity to be both a leader and listener in the classroom. Jenny's engagement and thoughtfulness often enriched the classroom experience for her peers and teachers alike. One instructor noted that Jenny brought to discussions a sophisticated awareness of how scientific and anthropological studies could be wielded for or against certain populations. Her perceptive questions helped engage classmates by making the course material more relevant to their interests. Jenny's creative intellect shines in the laboratory and through the pages of her independent research, described by faculty as highly original, of publishable quality, and transcending disciplinary boundaries. As a member of Professor Jimma's laboratory since her first summer at Princeton, Jenny led a multi-year effort to study organelle formation in malaria and related parasites, a path-breaking project that evolved into the focus of her senior thesis. According to Professor Jimma, Jenny has immense potential to become a leading biomedical scientist. While working diligently toward her own dream of earning an MD PhD, Jenny is remarkably dedicated to helping others find success as well. She has served in roles that include peer academic advisor at Butler College, health professions peer advisor, advanced peer tutor, and peer mentor for the Princeton University Mentorship Program. As current alumni chair and former president of Princeton's Black Pre-Medical Society, she founded the group's peer mentorship program and spearheaded efforts to decrease barriers faced by Black students entering healthcare fields. Beyond Princeton, Jenny volunteers during winter breaks at a hospital in her hometown of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and in 2023, spent the summer interning with the Florida Department of Public Health in Palm Beach County. In her spare time, which apparently she has, Jenny enjoys a number of artistic pursuits. She plays both the violin and the ukulele. It's a trend concert to follow. Paints and helps visitors engage with exhibitions as a gallery attendant at Art at Bainbridge, a project of the Princeton University Art Museum. Jenny, we are excited to follow you as you strive to improve the quality and delivery of healthcare around the world. Congratulations. Please join me in welcoming Jenny Nwokeji to the stage.
I first wanted to thank President Eisgruber for those incredibly kind words, Dean Crotty and Dean Gordon for administering the news to me and handing me a tissue when I started to tear up, the Pyne Prize Selection Committee, and Dean Lazen and Professor Jimma for nominating me. I am really thankful beyond words. I wanted to talk a little bit about the dual concepts of fear and hope. They're often seen as mutually exclusive, fear just for the pessimists, hope just for the optimists. I argue that they're much more similar than many people give them credit for. My parents, for example, were likely very afraid when they first moved from Nigeria to the United States. My dad was born in a small rural village in southeastern Nigeria, and the concept of moving to America was frankly unrealistic. However, with the little money he had at the time, and only a few years older than I am now, he uprooted everything to pursue an education in the US. My mom similarly pursued a nursing degree in Nigeria before moving across the world for a better life. It was scary, but they were hopeful. They were eventually able to establish a middle-class life in central Pennsylvania, with me being the youngest of four and the only daughter. I attended a large public high school of 2,000 students in Harrisburg, and a student from there going to Princeton was unheard of. When I committed to Princeton, I was truly afraid. Afraid that I wouldn't match my peers academically, afraid that I wouldn't fit in, and simply afraid that I didn't fit the image of a typical Princeton student. I wholeheartedly credit my family, friends, and mentors for taking that fear and transforming it into hope. My high school teachers and Princeton professors who've given me the foundation to succeed in my molecular biology major, my friends from Harrisburg and Princeton who I talk to every day, my parents and brothers who have been my biggest supporters from the beginning. I am eternally grateful. Everyone who knows me well, both before and during Princeton, knows that I tend to worry a lot. I worry about whether the explanation I gave at McGraw made sense, tutoring at McGraw made sense, whether the brownies I baked for my friends or Z's tasted good enough, or whether the experiment I'm running will get in the way of another person's work. I do this because I truly care about the people who I love and the people in the communities and spaces that have shaped me. I have a strong focus on health equity because of the implications of good health. Good health isn't just not having the flu. It's not just being able to go to the gym at 6 a.m. every day. Good health is good well-being, and it's deeply tied to your overall quality of life. It's a human right, but right now, it's treated as a luxury. People in Nigeria, in the same communities that my parents were raised in, are forced to see diseases like malaria or typhoid fever as inevitable threats. Illnesses like prostate or breast cancer, diabetes or sickle cell disease disproportionately impact people of color. When you see these trends and you live in these realities, it's unsurprising that many people are forced into fear and forced out of hope. This is why I'm not just an advocate for scientific research, but for human rights. I want to become a physician scientist to ensure that the work that I do in the lab gets to the people who need it the most. I spent so much time in the GIMA lab in undergrad because I cared deeply about the implications of the work. Understanding the process of malaria infection can have a large impact. At the same time, I made sure that the activities that I did outside of the lab centered on directly improving the lives of those around me. I served on the board of the Black Pre-Medical Society for all 4 years at Princeton, and as president in 2023, I worked with my amazing board to organize our first ever trip to a medical school. I volunteered at UPMC Community Osteopathic Hospital in Harrisburg for 3 of my 4 years at Princeton, and I've translated for asylum seekers at the front desk of the Palm Beach County Health Department Clinic. My goals, ultimately, are bigger than me. As Princeton students and alumni, we wield a great deal of power and influence. I believe it's unfortunately very easy to sit with that influence and comfort and not be a change maker. That largely could be due to a lack of hope. Under the assumption that society simply is what it is, it's easy to assume that there's no change that you as an individual can make to improve the world around us. I encourage us all to truly, genuinely, and sincerely follow our motto in the service of humanity. This is not and never will be a lone effort. However, with the knowledge that I've gained and the individuals that I've met at Princeton, I want to wield that hope for a greater good. It won't be easy, and my exact path will likely have to change. Regardless, I will continue fighting for the people who have been forced to lose that hope and caring for the people who feel as though nobody cares about them. Thank you.